Here's Spas and Sauna's His Move.
The stories say take it with a grain of salt, but that hasn't stopped people from dreaming of and searching for the legendary loot in 11 Jones Cave. Chris Turner explains in tonight's Kentuckiana Mysteries.
They would lay away people on the highway and rob them and kill them and take the booty and hide it in the cave.
Legend has it the notorious 11 Joneses beat a path through these woods after their robberies, and they ended up here along Beargrass Creek to stash their treasures.
That's the big legend, that there's this big pot of silver or gold that you can find in 11 Jones Cave.
The cave entrance rests in the side of a hill not 30 feet from the creek. For some, it's rather small, considering there might be big treasures here.
When we were looking for the cave, we were told that the stagecoach had been hidden in this cave. So here we are, we're traipsing up Beargrass Creek stream valley, looking for this cave entrance that's big enough to drive a stagecoach in. And I think we walked past the entrance maybe 6, 7, 8 times.
You'll find about 6 inches of water trickling through the cave. It's 55 degrees inside. The 11 Joneses would have had to feel their way along the narrow passages, perhaps avoiding an occasional spider on the way. The passages are only about 2.5 feet wide and about 5 feet tall. That's just enough room to crouch or crawl. Is there any treasure back there?
It's a wonderful story, if it were true. But anyone, even in a wrong mind, who would place a treasure back in the cave that you had to crawl for hundreds of feet and rarely stand up.
George explored the cave 30 years ago. He didn't find any treasures, but he did map the cave 400 feet inside. The news channel stopped at 15 feet, just too tight to get through. Already you can see how tough it is for one person to squeeze in here, let alone one person and a bag of loot. Yet given that, why does the legend, the mystery of 11 Jones Cave live on more than 140 years later? An early Courier Journal describes 11 Jones Cave as tempting treasure seekers with legendary wealth. Folks visited the cave almost daily back then, and it was an honor to have your picture taken out front and then embellish the legend.
And the cave gets longer and the cave gets larger, and you know, that's the way people look at caves in Kentucky.
But is there treasure here? Only the 11 Joneses knew for sure.
And no one knows for sure if any of the 11 Joneses were real. But Angelo George, the man who studied the cave, says the story is very similar to a romance novel popular in the 1800s. Now, that story tells of a band of 11 bad guys who drive a stagecoach into a cave where they lived and where they stashed their loot. Sound familiar? Thanks to Chris Turner and photographer John Pennington for bringing us the Kentuckiana Mysteries this week.
Now, a little more history. Do you remember the last time a Republican occupied Kentucky's governor's mansion? We'll look back later in Film at 11.
And how would you like to see a beep